What's up, TrYumph Nation? It is Coach Matt, and this is your Tuesday topic post. And today, I'm going to talk about what is health. Health definition. For some of you, the definition is going to be not what you think. So I hope you get excited. This week, as we promised, I want to thank everybody that tuned in live or watched the replay of our inaugural premiere TrYumph Nation live last night with my wife Holly. We mentioned that this week we're going to have a teaser week of all the pillars or tactics that we can incorporate into our lives to promote great health. So that is essentially teeing up. Each week we'll have a focused topic on one of those different pillars or strategies to obtain health, because we don't want to overwhelm you. But this week we're going to provide you teasers of the different topics so you get a flavor of what's to come. So today, before we can get into those strategies, we have to define what health is. So those of you that want additional resources or additional reading, you want to go deeper dive, in the comments at the very end, I listed some additional resources for your reference, and I encourage you to check those out, because what we fill our mind with will dictate a lot of what comes out of our mouths and what happens in our daily habits, in our daily lives, in our daily relationships. So today, like I said, the teaser is health, and I have some notes here, mostly to keep me on track. But as I told Holly, one of my favorite quotes, I've been using this for 20 plus years, about wisdom. And wisdom is not what you know, but rather knowing where to find out what you don't know. So wisdom is that, and that's why I use notes, basically to keep me on track so I don't stray off like a dog in heat looking for a mate. Bad analogy, but anyway. So let's get into health. Let's go define it first. And according to an AI engine I use, health is an overall state of physical, mental, and emotional well-being that will lead to a long and functional life. So that's one definition. According to medicine, it's the absence of disease. And according to me, Coach Matt, health is the longer you can kick ass and do the things you love. So that's what I'm working for, aspiring to in my health and maintaining function. Now, we're going to talk about functional health and longevity as interchangeable terms. So let's talk about some measurable markers. There are ways to determine if we're healthy, to prove that we're healthy. And this is where we're going to kind of dive into medicine 2.0 and medicine 3.0, and I'll explain what that means in a second. But currently in medicine 2.0, the measurable markers of health, if you go for your annual checkups and you're somewhat fortunate that your doctor orders these tests, what is the most classic are blood pressure, cholesterol, your BMI, your weight versus height, your A1C score, fasting blood sugar, and triglycerides. And then they do that metabolic panel and your red blood cell, white blood cell, all that stuff. And maybe you might get a thyroid panel. But what's up, David and Carol? Thank you for joining. And if you are watching, and this is how Holly and I can determine who's paying attention and engage in the comments. Whether you're watching live or replay, put live. If you're watching it now, it's 11:51 a.m. on Tuesday. You can put live. If you're watching the replay, please put replay and participate and react to what I'm teaching so that we kind of see that you're playing along. But those measurable markers are so rudimentary, and as I'm about to tell you, don't really identify whether you're healthy or not until it's too late. It's really identifying when it's time to react. And that's the difference between medicine 2.0 and medicine 3.0. And just real quick on the difference, medicine 1.0, that dates way back to Hippocrates. And basically he made the discovery that these conditions or illnesses or things that were killing people were not an act of the gods or caused by the gods or curses, but some reaction to something in nature. So that was an observation, and it led to a lot of the snake oil medicine and leeches and all the things you may have heard about. But it was a start, and that lasted for 2,000 plus years. And then we transitioned in the mid-19th century to medicine 2.0 with the discovery of germs and germ theory, the advent of antibiotics and vaccines, and largely medicine 2.0 took mortality or decreased mortality significantly between the mid-19th centuries and the 1950s and 50s and 60s. But the sad truth is, between then and now, 1960s to now, the mortality rates have largely remained unchanged. Little bit of dip, and then 2017 actually went up for the first time since the 1950s. So, that's today's medicine 2.0. Whereas medicine 3.0 is where some doctors are getting on the train, and the one that I recommended in the additional resources, Dr. Peter Attia in his book, Outlive, and this is one of your recommended resources. If you're going to read one book or listen to one book in your life, or at least in the next couple years, on your health and how to achieve great health and longevity, this is the book. This is amazing. It just came out March 28th. I have a signed copy. So I feel pretty cool about that. I'm one of his super fans, and hopefully you guys and gals will be our super fans, because we're going to try to over deliver as well. But he talks about in the book Outlive Medicine 3.0, and the difference between 2.0 and 3.0 is reactive 2.0 versus proactive 3.0. So today's medicine, as you very well know, is focused on treating a condition or a disease after you have it. And here's the sad truth that they understand in studying centenarians, the longest lived population people on earth, is they don't live longer once they get a disease. They just live longer before they get disease. And that is what medicine 3.0 is focused on, is extending the time before you get heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's. Because the reality is, at least today, if you get any of those things, your mortality is going to be largely unchanged since the 1950s with today's medicine. So 3.0 is focusing on identifying things before they happen, or as early as possible when they happen. And the difference between 2.0 and 3.0 in terms of biomarkers is this. You're going to get measured fasting insulin instead of fasting blood sugar. You're going to look at ApoB versus cholesterol, LDL. You're going to look at inflammatory markers. And you're also going to look at overall fitness level to include VO2 max and strength. So those biomarkers, in fact, those two are 50 times more predictive of longevity and health span than blood pressure. So this is where 3.0, and there's some whole body diagnostic tests. And one of my clients just paid close to $18,000 to do all of these 3.0 tests. And you don't have to do that. Don't freak out. But one of them, which was scanning her entire body to identify any potential cysts, tumors, cellular dysfunctions when they're itty bitty and can be dealt with without major complications. So that's kind of a just quick rant on 2.0 versus 3.0. But I sum it up actually in 2012 in my book, The Magic Pill. An ounce of prevention is worth far more than a pound of cure. Let me say that again. An ounce of prevention is worth far more than a pound of cure. So, as I said, once you have a condition, largely it's going to be dictated, your health span is going to be dictated from that point forward. So, medicine has not done a great job of reversing disease once you have it, and it just really extends the life and potential misery and time in nursing homes while you have a disease. So, let's do what we can. And there's lots of things that we can do, and that's the purpose of this group, And the purpose of our topic posts each week is to focus on those tactics and strategies that we can incorporate into our daily lives, our daily habits, that will most likely decrease the likelihood or prevent us from getting one of the diseases of aging, which is cardiovascular disease, dementia and Alzheimer's, which are the neurodegeneratives, the diabetes, which is metabolic, and what is the fourth one? He calls them the four horsemen of death, and I'm blanking on it completely. Heart disease, cancer, the big one that everybody fears. How did I forget that one? So those are the four horsemen of death, and the good news is 85% prediction of whether we get those things or when we get those things is dictated by epigenetic lifestyle choices. So that's why you're here, I hope. That's why I'm here, and what I hope to serve for you guys. But last thing we'll talk about is those tactics and strategies, and these are going to be what I call the pillars or the blueprint of health and Health Made Simple that I talked about in our premiere live last night. And the big five are exercise, nutrition, sleep, mental and emotional health or mindset, and exogenous stuff. And what is that? Exogenous means outside the body. And what I mean by that is drugs and supplements that can be beneficial to health span and longevity. Now, through this process, I'll reveal some of those supplements and drugs that I have used in my own protocol that have largely been proven to either increase mental function, cognitive function, or health span, and ones that I have not used but I'm aware of, like rapamycin and metformin for longevity. But just so you may have a preconceived notion that drugs are bad, but drugs do save lives and they can be useful at times, and there's a lot of science for developing on off-label use of certain drugs to promote and extend health span. And then on the supplement side, there is a ton of supplements and information that can be largely confusing. So I will help you filter the difference between the bogus stuff and the beneficial stuff when it comes to supplements. There are many supplements that have been proven to be efficacious, effective, and ergogenic, meaning improving performance. So we'll dive into those supplements. That's going to be one of the topics that we look at on a rotating basis. So that is kind of a teaser on health. Hopefully that explains what a health. If you can put in the comments, put the word health, if you now have a better understanding of what health and health span and longevity are versus before you watch this video. And that helps me understand if this was communicative, that's a hard word to say, or beneficial. But again, just point out there are additional recommended resources at the end of my comments below. If you want to read the comments, just kind of reiterate what I talked about a little bit deeper in that. And then tomorrow, tune in tomorrow, as I'm going to talk about the most potent longevity drug, aka magic pill, that we can incorporate into our lives that would have the most likelihood of extending health span and longevity. So don't miss that. I'll see you then. And then remember, the Y in TrYumph is you. And that's why I spelled TrYumph with the Y a long time ago in 1998. And you'll be seeing that logo a lot, and why the big Y in TrYumph Nation in our movement is centered. That's helping you focus on you so you can serve other people better. So that's today. I hope you have an amazing Tuesday, and we'll see you tomorrow for the magic pill on longevity. Cheers, friends.